We don't hit children anymore. It's hard to see tail damages on dogs who haven't got any tails. The dog has to obtain something.
In Brussels, now we have a very important subject on the table, and that concerns hunting dogs. And there are a lot of myths about hunting dogs, I think, across Europe. So today we have Ove Dam Hedegaard from Danish Hunting Association just to try to talk about these myths and tell people what having a hunting dog actually means. Hi, Ove.
Hi, thank you. Yes, I'm ready.
Could you tell us a bit more about yourself, what you do, what Danish Hunting Association, how it works with hunting dogs and how it's happening?
Yeah, I can. I'm fully employed in the Danish Hunters Association, and I am working at the secretary. I take care of the whole of our hunting dog area, and that is from, educations of instructors to advising our board members, and participating in all sorts of meetings, from local hunting clubs to meetings with our ministries.
Europe is very diverse. We have basically hundreds of different breeds, at least 200 different hunting breeds that have been created and selected for certain purposes to do a certain job.
Mm.
And the practices might differ from Spain to Scandinavia. It's very diverse, and the breeds are very, very different. I suppose you're a dog owner as well.
Yes,
How many you have?
I have three dogs, two English Spaniels and one Labrador.
Oh, what a fantastic company you have.
Mm.
So, would you tell us, please, what having a hunting dog, a working hunting dog, actually mean? What, how it affects your life, how you train it, how much time does it actually take? Because it's not like you take a hunting dog, throw it in the forest, and that's
No,
it.
it just works by itself. No, it's I think for many Danish hunters, it's also a way of life. You dedicate a whole lot of time to having a fully functional hunting dog when it takes a few years to really educate the dog, so it can handle all the tasks at when we go hunt. And so it's a part of the everyday life in whatever that means. Cars, you have to make room for it in your car, your house. You have to make room for it in your everyday life, training purposes. Yeah, basically everything. It has to be a part of the family as well. If you have kids, and you can't have, if you have a company dog, a dog just for company, the children can play with it, fetch with a ball and everything. But when we're working with hunting dogs, that's not an option. So it's in everything that we do. It's very big part of our lives.
What's the most important part of training a hunting dog? Because a dog in itself is a predator, and if it's not
Mm,
trained and if it's not controlled,
mm.
it can be dangerous.
Yeah,
So,
but I think that there's a lot of myth uh, uh, about how to train, and you can still borrow books from the library, and hear, see a lot of online people talking about you have to be an alpha, you have to be a pack leader. And what science have shown is that's nonsense. So what we do in Denmark regards to education is that we are only using positive reinforcements. We have completely stopped or trying to completely stop having punishment as a part of our training. The dog has to obtain something, not avoid something. So I've been hunting for many years and I've been having dogs all of this time. And I come from a culture where we were punishing, in some ways, punishing dogs to do what we wanted them to do. Today, I never punish my dogs. I always use positive reinforcement, and it's a much better relationship with my dogs. We are cooperating. My dogs are not doing tasks because they have to, because otherwise they will be punished, but because they obtain something nice by doing it.
That's a very good point because in this respective, training has really changed as it was like a few decades ago and how it
Mm,
is now, because a hunting dog really is a partner that has to go out there and face nature,
mm.
basically. So the trust between an owner and a dog is absolutely essential, because if you tell it to do something and if the dog doesn't trust you, there will be no cooperation.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of new experiences, and some of them for a hunting dog who has not met these experiences before, have to see you as a safe base. If the dog is uncertain about something or uncomfortable, it has to, you know, the confidence between the dog and the owner is has to be so strong that the dog thinks that, okay, I will return to my owner because then I know I'm safe. My previous dogs, when I started, I guarantee you they didn't have that cooperation with me and that trust with me.
Yeah,
So,
it
so
is a process. It is a
yeah,
process.
yeah, and I think that we also have to, realize that and understand. I think that others have to realize and understand that we come from a long tradition and culture where punishment was the way we did things. We also hit children in school to make them learn something. We don't hit children anymore. It's prohibited to hit children. But you can still borrow, and I think this is a problem. You can still borrow books where punishment is a part of the way you educate dogs.
And yes, and this is the problem. There's a myth also that all the hunters train that way. This is my bearded companion.
It's beautiful.
He's a German Wirehead pointer.
Yeah.
He wants to get under my skin all the time.
It has a beard like me.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can be Santa Clauses. But there are so many myths still out of hunting community, and this is why legislation like this has been driven, that there is this myth that hunters treat their dogs really badly, that
Mm.
they throw them out if they don't do or perform, that they, as you say, punish them, that they do a lot
And lock,
of
them- lock them up in cages.
yeah, lock them up in cages, as in any part of world. There are people who might be still doing that, but this is not the right way, and that this is the
No.
message of our interview today, to tell the story that the mindset has changed
Mm.
dramatically.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes I compare it with there is also people who are drinking and driving. But, you know, we can't do anything about it, really, because if they have to drink as a sickness, then we can do nothing about it. And we have some people who have had the tradition of punishment and in caging dogs for all their lives, and they may be very old. they won't change. And it's a bit naive to think that they will change. But the new generations will certainly have a whole other understanding of how to treat dogs, how to accompany dogs in their everyday life. So, but there are still myths. Um,
Wait, my old dog thinks he's alone and he's like hell. He's like 14. Sorry about that.
no, no, it's no problem.
He's 14, he has a dementia a bit, and when he thinks he's alone, he's just sits and screams. Sorry.
I couldn't hear it though.
I was. Sorry. Yeah, let's go on.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of myth towards the hunters and the way they have dogs. And I see it in, you know, a lot of things that we do. And when we talk to people who are not hunting, who don't have hunting dogs, or actually they have a hunting dog, but they don't realize they have a hunting dog. They bought it because it was beautiful or it matches the sofa or whatever. But when I talk to them, I think they will they they're surprised about how much we actually care for our dogs and how much it's taking up our time.
Yes, and in a way, what I believe is that if you are a dog owner and you have taken upon having a hunting dog breed, and if you don't take this dog to any kind of activity that resembles hunting,
Mm,
that's my opinion, it
mm,
goes against the welfare of this breed. And that is a huge problem because these dogs can create lots of problems. Like if you're not a hunter, you take up a Weimaraner, that could end up quite
mm.
badly. And then we have Facebook posts saying young dog, a year-old Weimaraner is looking for a new home. That's
Absolutely.
a problem. What's your take on this one?
Actually, I think there's if we when we talk about welfare for dogs, I think that we have to look at the we have 800 and 850,000 dogs in Denmark. And 80% of them, 80, not 18, but 80% of them has some kind of mental disease or mental disorder. And why is
Oh,
that? And why
oh,
is that?
wow.
Yeah, and I think it's the same all over. Um, why is that? Well, it's because that people don't realize or recognize or understand that they have a predator in their house. So, uh, what what is it that needs to, what is it that this animal needs to have a good welfare, to to be happy? And there's a lot of misunderstandings about how to treat a dog, to activate a dog. Some people think that, okay, if I run or walk 5 kilometers a day, then my dog is activated. Definitely not. Definitely not. And if you have had a dog for as many years as I have, you get to know this. You understand this. That I could run 5 kilometers. No, I don't run, but I could walk 5 kilometers the first week, and the dog sleeps for every day for a week, and the dog when I walk 5 kilometers, the dog sleeps for 20 seconds, and it's ready to go again. Next week we have to go 10 kilometers. Next week again we have to go 15 kilometers. And what you're doing is actually you are training a super athlete to be more athletic. So you need to understand that to be happy, it's a balance between, workout and mental workout. The dog has also, it also needs to be mentally challenged. And I don't think that many dogs are mentally challenged in the way that I believe we have to challenge them, because they are mentally challenged, yes, because they they suffer
It
from.
sounds a bit, sorry, mentally challenged sounds a bit like it's a sickness. No, it's like intellectually challenged, I
No,
think
but
what
I
you.
think actually, I think when 80%, I think it's a mental challenge. We have to look at it as, people would like to butter it up to be, not as bad and not as serious a problem. I think it's a serious problem. So I think that when we have a lot of dogs being, um, the anxiety of separation, it feels, a lot of dogs has this. People don't understand the concept of how to, make this better for the dogs. So if we want to talk welfare, I think that we have to look, a bit more in the everyday life of a dog. And I believe, I don't have the science behind me, but I believe that hunters are, if you look at it as a scale, I think we are in the right end of the scale, because we activate our dogs to match the life of a predator. We hunt, we carry, we do nose work, and whatnot. So I actually believe that we have to bring more education possibilities for the dog owners with the dogs, hunting dogs, because then we have a much better chance in proving the welfare of the hunting dog.
So
So
what I hear,
education is a big
so,
step.
so what I hear you're saying is that the problem actually not is so much with the hunters having hunting breed dogs. It's the other way around. It's that most of the dogs who are not doing what they were supposed or created to do, they are actually having mental problems.
Mm.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
And this is another subject I would like to touch upon because can you just give us a brief insight of what it takes to create a breed for certain purpose? What does it mean?
What it means is that if we look upon history, the dog breeds have changed according to what purpose you needed the dog for. So if you look at we have I think four racial or breed categories in Denmark that we use for hunting mostly. We do not use like Spitz dog, like they use in Finland, Norway, and Sweden. We don't use those kind of dogs much, but we have the pointers, and we have they work in vast areas, searching for bird game primarily. Then we have all of the spaniels. They work close to the hunter and are, working in, a lot of uh, uh, vegetation that other dogs wouldn't go into, like with a lot of thorns on it. But also these two kind of breeds are dogs that are used before the shot has been taken. And then you have the retrievers who are mostly uh, bred to take care of things when the shot has been taken. So they are excellent in retrieving. And then if you have a Labrador, you know that it's it's very easy to get them to carry. They carry everything around when they're puppies.
And
And
they
then we
love
have,
water. And they love water.
and they love water. And then of course we have the small breeds who can work in dens, um, and are used in big forests to push out the deers. So what it takes is, of course, it's knowledge, and it's the right material, and it's the know-how about what are the purpose of the breed.
And why do working hunting dogs have to have some certain breeds, especially their tails docked? It's not for the aesthetical purpose.
Oh, it's a, it's a hot topic
It is a
because,
hot topic,
yeah,
yes. It is a very
because
hot topic.
because we have five breeds in Denmark who you still can tail duck as when they're puppies, and they are all I think they're all pointers.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
yeah, and um, of course this was done because of damages to the tails, but I think that if we look upon our um, vegetation and landscape, the hunt has been altered in a way that, it's hard to keep argumenting uh, to keep dogtailing.
Uh, we were hunting with my friend last weekend in Poland. I have a warhead pointer, German warhead pointer with a dog tail. And my friend is hunting with a Weimaraner that its tail is not docked. My didn't have any problems. Her dog came out of the vegetation with the tail bleeding.
Yeah, and that's it. That's exactly it. Because if you look upon each country, there are different kinds of, vegetation. And if we look at spaniels, I think that if, it's hard to see tail damages on dogs who haven't got any tails. But if we look at the spaniels who are not allowed to be dog-tailed, they have a lot of injuries, but we're still not allowed to dog them.
Explain what does tail injury mean?
It means often, I think the most common tail injury is bleeding from the tip. And that bleeding can, of course, be painful for the dog. And if we're really unlucky, it could get infected.
Exactly.
And then we have to remove some of the tail um, in order to make the dog feel better. So then of course you can have where the tail actually broke, which is very painful for the dog. I don't think that we see that kind of injury as often, but the bleeding from the tip is very common for spaniels.
And I think also for short-haired dogs as well, especially Kurzhaar, short-haired, German short-haired pointer.
Yeah, but we don't have any in Denmark. We don't have a lot of those with tails.
Oh yeah, so they're being docked,
They
yeah.
are being docked.
So it means that basically the problem has been removed.
Yeah.
So what I hear, what you're saying, basically it depends on the country. It depends
Mm,
on the local situations that
mm.
there might be situations where the tail docking should be an option when
I think I think
they're
that
small
I think
puppy.
that yes, I think that we have to respect that. In Denmark we have to respect that our way of hunting and our vegetation is not the same as in every other country. So there might be differences. Who are It's a good argument to keep ducktailing, but I think also that it's at the same time I can understand why some are against ducktailing in Denmark, because you don't see injuries on tails who isn't there, if you know what I mean. You can't make a
It's like
scientific.
a circle.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, okay, but try not to dock them, and then we will see if they get injured. But that's also, I think it's not if we look at welfare, it's not very good for the dogs if we have to. Okay, let's try and see if they get injured.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the reason why they started to dock tails in the first place, because
mm,
there was a problem.
yeah,
There was a problem. It's
Yeah.
not what people have to understand, that it's not done for ethical purposes because the dogs look good that way. It's done to prevent the dog being hurt, basically. And the problem with the tail, it's always moving and they are hitting the injured tip on the door aisles or on tables or anyway, and then it's not recovering, basically. It just, the problem keeps going and going and going. And as you said, the biggest risk is of it getting infected. And
Mm.
is that a humane attitude towards dogs? I'm not sure about that.
And you can cut this part out if it's too but if you look at, I think that science are at the verge of proving that dogtailing can be a problem for the dogs because of um, it uses it for balance when it runs. It uses it for communication with other dogs, and I believe there was another reason to why they think it's could be a problem that we keep dogtailing. And of course, if we talk welfare, no matter how much we are trying to prohibit injuries, or how much we love the exterior of the dog when it doesn't have the tail, of course we have to also look at these arguments. Um, Otherwise, we are, um, it's not fair that we only look at it from our point of view, but we also have to be curious about the science behind what is happening right now.
Yeah, that's a very hot topic, and you have to look at these issues not from the emotional point of view, but to
Mm,
look at the welfare of dogs.
exactly. And that could be diverse from country to country. And this is important because, as I started out by saying before, when we talk breeds, we don't use a lot of spitz hounds. So I don't have an opinion on spitz hounds. And some people are using dogs for boar hunting. We don't have boar hunting in Denmark, so therefore we don't have an opinion upon it. Because actually I don't know exactly what it is. So I think that also I think there's a problem sometimes with people having an opinion on something they don't actually know something about, and have tried or have an understanding for or a culture for or tradition for.
Or take one bad example and use it against the whole community.
Yeah.
Because we are responsible hunting dog owners, and we do our best to keep them as safe and happy as possible.
Mm.
And that then there's someone who who, as you said, keep their dog in the cage and not talking to it, and they measure the whole hunting community by these bad examples, which is wrong.
Mm.
It means that we have to talk to people and stop some people doing bad or stupid things, but these laws should not be putting more pressure on responsible, loving dog owners.
And that's why I think that it's very important that the hunters, uh, who has an opportunity to work in, like scientific groups. I'm participating in a follow group at the Copenhagen University on welfare on small animals, and I'm not a scientist, but I can certainly provide information about the everyday life living with a dog, a hunting dog. And there's an understanding because not all scientists are hunters, so I have to bring in some knowledge about how we actually do in the praxis of what we're doing. And at one time we were discussing cages and the use of cages, and I was like listening to the whole conversation, and they asked if I had any comments, and I said, well, first of all, I would like to know what is a cage. Is it because I hear something that sounds to me like we're talking about a transport box. That's not a cage. An outdoor facility where the dog has 3 by 4 meters. That's not a cage. So what is a cage? And then they had made a survey where I think it was 50% or more actually who has used a cage the day before, and 20% or something like that has used the cage for more than 8 hours. And this was not only hunters, I should point out, but I said, okay, 8 hours. I think my puppy was using the cage for like 10, maybe 12 hours yesterday. And they was looking at me and in horror and said, that's a really long time to have the puppy in cage. And I said, yeah, but you didn't ask a really important question. Was the door closed? Because it isn't. My puppy can freely walk in and out of the cage. And if I have to do something where I'm uncertain that the other dogs will, not start playing with my puppy, then I will close the gate. But I don't put my my older dogs in cages because I have a new puppy. I don't punish them. You have to stay in your room because we have a new puppy. No, I put the puppy in the cage and close the door so it can have, you know, it could be calm and sleep because it needs a lot of sleep and calm. So this kind of understanding we have to really, you know, bring to the people who needs to hear it. So this is a task at hand.
It then basically it means that it depends on the perspective from which point of view you're talking, and before you even start talking, you have to get on the same page. So
Absolutely.
you have the same understanding what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Because for most of Europe, hunting dogs are family members. They are partners.
Mhm.
In many cases, even more important than the rest of their family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
They
and
show more love. They show more love
it's yeah, it's if you want to know what the true love is,
by a dog.
take your wife and your dog
Put them
and
in the trunk.
put them in the trunk. They will be happy to see you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that yeah, I think that it's very important to, I also try to, when I'm in these situations with some who doesn't really understand our way of life, I also try to understand them because I'm also very curious on what is it that they actually see when they see me as a hunter with my dog, because I can learn a lot from it.
That's a very important point, because we all love our dogs, but we see each other in a very different way.
Yeah,
And we should get on the same page and
yeah.
stop thinking about the hunting community and the dog
Mm.
owners as these demons who treat their dogs badly.
Yeah,
Basically, the dog gets a better treatment than you do. You come home from hunting, first you take care of the dog, and only then you take care of yourself. That's the most important
yeah,
principle.
yeah, 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 absolutely. And I still think that you said it yourself. They are most of the time a family dog. I think that my dogs are 98% family dog and 2% hunting dog. And that is also something that we're trying to teach when we educate dog owners. That's also something that we're trying to teach them or explain to them that the everyday life of a hunting dog is just, as important to understand and create habits for the dogs as to, the actual hunt. We have, I think in the Danish Association, Hunting Association, we have around 55,000 hunting dogs. We have 865 hunting clubs. 400 of those hunting clubs are offering dog training. So we have, I think, close to 1,500 to 2,000 instructors who are volunteer. So this is, I think, a very, very important tool to success. If we want to have better welfare for the dogs, and we have and a good way to communicate with the dog owners, it's through the educations. And this we are, you know, this is a very, very, we are very focused on this in the Danish Hunters Association.
So it's a good example that other associations should look upon and maybe learn something new from each other.
For a long time we have, measured our success in how many dogs are participating in field trials or tests.
Yeah.
Not any longer. That's not. It's still a very good tool to find the best breed, to keep having strong, mentally strong, physically strong, and a good material to work with as a hunter. But it's not as crucial, it's not as important as education. Education is the way to success.
Thank you, Ove. I think we could speak about this like for hours. Then we get into hunting
10
situation
million
and
hours.
experience and like weeks and months. And we haven't even started with you. Because as two hunting dog owners, we could share the stories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have
I
to
can feel you're passionate as well. I'm really passionate, and this is why that, I really love my dogs. I really love actually I love hunting dogs more than I love hunters. I usually say that when I'm teaching, but
100%.
but it's if we have to be able to keep doing what we're doing, we have to look on welfare in a whole new perspective.
And it's happening.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
in many, many situations, it is actually
yeah.
happening. Okay, we have to finish. Thank you very
Hmm.
much for the discussion. We just
Thank
touched
you.
upon a few
Yeah,
issues, but I think very important ones, and we have to work more to break this myth about hunters and their
we're
dogs.
not animals. We're not monsters. Actually, I think we are in the right end of the scale to when we talk about welfare.
We could actually help the other dog owners, and you are, as I understand, you are helping actually them
Yeah,
to to do it.
you're not
Well,
a you don't have to be a hunter to participate in the training in our hunting clubs.
oh, really? That's a good idea. Yeah.
You are very welcome because it doesn't it there are three. I think this is important actually. There are three reasons. There are more reasons to why it's a good idea to have the people who are not hunting on our education. Because one, they need the training. The dogs need the training. They need to be activated as a predator. Two, they will be great ambassadors for hunting when they leave our training facilities. And other people say, "Oh, you have a nice dog. Where did you train?" At the hunting club. Okay. And it brings, of course, a bit of a bit of money to the hunting clubs. So they are very welcome in our hunting clubs.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank
Let's
you.
keep in touch and let's take care of our dogs.
Absolutely. Thank you, Linda.